It's Chords and Coffee, and today I've got Mr. Danny Rogers, your friend and mine. If you've ever had a guitar here in the Springfield store, or actually any one of our Palen Music Center stores that needed some serious loving, had something wrong with it, or just needed a Plek, this is the guy that made it right. And so today I thought we would take just a second to answer some of these questions that come up from time to time that are generally around the area of either guitar maintenance or just troubleshooting things. And we got an Alvarez here on the bench, belongs to a buddy of mine. And hello, Adam, thanks for letting us use your guitar. Adam likes to keep this guitar. Adam's a fantastic guitar player, great singer, great keyboard player as well. And he likes to keep this one in D standard. Okay. So, you know, basically the same tuning, but instead of starting with a low E, he tunes it down to D. And he's just having some trouble keeping it in tune. We've got upgraded tuners on there that he put on there, but yet the problem is still persisting. And so anyway, I just thought this might be kind of a cool episode to take a look at something like this and just see about how we go about fixing it. So step one, as I was talking to you, was maybe a heavier gauge string.
Maybe some heavier strings, yeah.
Yeah, so like...
That's pretty low D for
yeah,
an acoustic.
And, you know, on an acoustic guitar, if something's having a hard time staying in tune, what is like, where do you start? Like, what could be the problem?
Well, one of the first questions I like to ask, which I didn't get a chance to talk to him, would be, is it going sharp or flat? Because that's clues to what could be happening. But if something won't stay in tune, it's because something is moving on the guitar. And there's not a lot of moving parts on an acoustic, so the tuners was a good idea. That would be, first place I look is tuners or nut. It could be getting caught in the nut and causing it to go sharp. But if it's slipping at the tuners, but he looks like he put locking tuners on there, which is not a bad idea, not a bad solution. And it's still going out of tune, you're saying?
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to throw in a heavier set of strings.
Start there.
Yeah.
And we make sure they're stretched out fully.
What do you mean by stretched out fully? Because you might be watching this and you might say, I don't know what that means.
Well, when you put a new string on there, let's see. I pull on them pretty hard. What you do is you keep doing this until it doesn't need to be tuned anymore. Until you do it and it doesn't change pitch.
That's a great tip, because that already is helping the guitar.
Yeah. You've seen how much that dropped. That dropped a whole step there the first time. So that these strings aren't, even though he's been playing them, I can see that they've got some wearing on them, but they're still not stretched out. So maybe he's not stretching them out when he puts them on. That's something.
Especially if you're doing that in a hurry or not taking the time to do that. Because that's something, I'll be honest with you, up until even recently, I wasn't doing that. I would just kind of hold it at the 12th fret and give her a yank here and then give it a yank down here, but not as much as you're doing. So stretching the strings out, that's a good tip. I also think with it being, like I have a guitar that I keep a whole step down as well. It's kind of, there's a Ted Green thing, you know, he would keep a Telecaster like that. I actually have a Taylor that I keep like that because I just like the way it sounds. And yeah, I've noticed if I don't do that, then it can get wonky on me. Yeah.
Another tuning thing that my dad taught me when I was young, and it was because we had cheap guitars that had cheap nuts. And as I always tune up, even if the note's sharp, I go below it and then tune up to it. And that just keeps the tension going the right direction, you know what I mean? Because if you tune down to it, it could get hung in the nut, and then later on, it'll go flat on you.
Well, very cool.
So I always tune up, and that's a habit you should get into. And I don't know this guy. I'm sure he's a great player, but sometimes there's little things like that people don't know, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's change these strings, and then we'll see where we're at, and we'll do some clever video editing right about now. So what do we got?
Well, it's all done. I put new strings on it. And when I was tuning it up, I heard this little creak sound, this little ting. You hear the string ting when you're tuning it up?
Oh, sure.
Sometimes it won't do it now. It never does it on camera.
Oh, it's not going to do it on camera. It's like
No.
trying to catch a fish on camera. It just ain't going to happen. Yeah.
But that can cause tuning issues. And when I hear that sound, that lets me know that I need to do some work on the nut. Probably need to open that up a little bit.
It's like a file.
Yeah,
File that down just a little bit. Yeah.
Nut file and adjust it. And we went to heavier gauge strings, so that could be that, or that the nut slot's a little bit narrow for these.
Yeah. So at this point, is it a smart move to go ahead and put it in the Plek and just see what it says?
It never hurts to see what the machine tells you about the guitar. It knows more. It knows all. The Plek knows all.
Consult the Plek. Here we go.
All right, there she is. So the Plek machine says that it needs a truss rod adjustment, but I kind of knew that. And the nut needs adjustment, which we just talked about. It probably did, but it looks like the E and A string are right in the ballpark, but the G's a little high, B's a little high, and those high E's a little. So let's look at the big graph. Well, this is.
What are we even looking at here? This just looks like the Matrix.
I need to adjust the truss rod to get a better scan so that I can show you. But
is this the fingerboard like laying like this, or is this like this?
Yeah. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Don't move.
What are we even looking at here? This just looks like the Matrix.
This is what we're looking at. This is like a cross section of a neck, a fender neck. You can see the frets. That's what this is. This would be a cross section around the G. So it would be this scan right here. And each dot is the fret, the top of the fret. The red is the actual top of the frets. The green is where we want to be. So I got to adjust the truss rod to get to the green. So it bisects the neck. So that's the high E and the B. So that's
very
what we're
cool.
looking at.
So there's too much back bow, or no, sorry. This is where you're at.
Too much relief, yeah.
Too much relief, yeah. And this is where we want to be.
Correct.
Yeah, and want to be is like the ideal place for the guitar to resonate and to play great and so on and so forth.
With this gauge of strings and this tuning, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're.
Awesome.
So we need to adjust the truss rod and adjust the nut a little bit. Other than that, I think she's going to be good to go.
Well, let's go.
What I'm going to check, even though the Plek told me that it needed it, this tells me exactly how much my digital gauge here.
Digital?
Oh, we got 20 thousandths. We got it. So, hang on, let me just get in there.
So how do you know how many times to turn it?
Just know.
You just know. It's like going to the barber. It's like, I know how to take off your hair. I mean, for you, it's a little easier.
The rule of thumb is to only do quarter of a turn at a time.
Quarter of a turn.
Just do it a quarter of a turn, and then check it.
Quarter of a turn and then check it.
That one was far enough. I knew I could do a few.
How many necks do you think you've adjusted in your life thus far?
I could not.
It's like how many chords have you strummed, right? And no idea. Yeah.
No idea.
There is no number. As the sands of the seashore. Is this the part where I need to leave again?
No. There it is.
All right. So now
perfect neck adjustment.
A perfect neck adjustment, and you've now brought this up to where you feel good about it. The Plek kind of gave you an idea of where you need to have it. You need a little quick tune up.
Tune it.
Yep. I can do that.
Handy
Boom.
dandy snark. You see that? Still getting caught in there. Even though it's not tinking, I could tell it's getting caught in there because I had to turn the tuner too far
Before
it
it
started reacting.
Yeah.
And that's my clue. Like,
So we've got a nut that needs attention.
yeah.
That's probably how my parents raised me. This nut needs attention.
Just move the string. I got this handy dandy gauge made by Joe Glazier. You can pick that up at Music City. Music City Bridge in Nashville. I think this was actually a prototype, but it's about wore out. I need to go get one. But Joe,
Wait a minute, you have a prototype tool that Joe Glazier gave you?
yes.
Nice.
So it looks like the nut's the right height. So what it is, it's a feeler gauge, basically, and it's cut. It's got cuts in it at different heights. So like, and then you feel where the nut's coming off based off the first two frets. So you know you can cut a nut perfectly based off the first frets because that's all it really cares about. So this rides on those frets, and this is 3/1000ths of an inch is where we need to be, and it's fine. It just needs to be widened out a little bit.
So now we're back to this, like you're the chef and you know when you need to turn the steak. You just know.
I guess that's how it works. I don't know. It is a feel thing. You do enough of them, and you can. It's just something. Yeah, I guess. So I tune it, and then I pull on it to see if it changes it.
Now, one of the things I love about Danny, and he's not going to do it on camera, so I'm not even going to ask you, but Danny's a great player. And when I first started bringing my guitar to Danny, and I know this sounds like an infomercial for Danny, but just the truth. Because you're a player, like whenever you bring your guitar in, Danny plays it and like really like plays it up and down and not just setting it to what the factory, you know, whatever manufacturer it is, whatever the factory spec is. I really love that about you because you'll play it. And now that you know this is in D, it's like you're going to want to play this up and down to make sure that everything you've done isn't just correct according to the book and according to the spec, but actually feels right.
That's the factory specs. All the specs are starting points, really. Mm-hmm. And it really depends on the player and what you're doing with the guitar. And that's why, like, when we go to Plek them on the computer, it says get a video of them playing. Because if I don't get to talk to the person or see them play, we like to get a video of them playing, so we can get an idea of, is he heavy right-handed? Is he a finger picker? I mean, because that helps us decide how we're going to set it up. Unless they know exactly, it's like, I like mine as 3/64, which we get a lot of that. Which is fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely
I like
fine.
People that know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Sure.
But having that video of somebody playing, or like in this case, I know Adam well enough to be able to, you know, we can play test this and get a really accurate read on it. So anyway, I just wanted to say that real quick. All right, let's get this thing tuned up real quick while Danny's grabbing that tool, and then we're gonna play test this bad boy and let her eat.
Why you tune it laying flat like that?
What are you talking about?
It's laying on its back like that. The gravity affects so you've got a support on the neck, and then gravity. You should always tune it in playing position.
I did not know that. I'm here to learn.
If you tune it like that, and then you pick it up, play it, it's going to be sharp.
What?
Yep.
Danny was right and I was wrong, and this is my... Well, I hope this has been helpful for you. Hey, look, I've been playing for 32 years now, and I'm still like on the path, so to speak, with learning guitar. There's a million things I don't know, and chief among them is just taking care of the instrument. Like, I feel like I'm still very much a novice. I don't even like changing my strings, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I'd rather mow the yard, right?
My.
Exactly. But to that end, I wanted to, number one, introduce you to the world and to my Chords and Coffee family, but also just let you know, like, if you're watching this and you're going, gosh, I don't want to mess with any of that. You're not alone, and you've got a place where you can come. We have people ship guitars to us all the time.
Oh, from all over.
Yeah, exactly. We just had a guitar in here from Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not weird for you to say, hey, I've got this issue, and maybe I don't even know what it is, you know, and send it to us. Comment below if you want our address, or just go on the World Wide Web, palenmusic.com. You'll find it right there too. So give us a holler if you need any help in that regard. We're family. We want to help each other. You know, friends, we're living life the best we can with a guitar in our hand. And we do this every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time. We'll see you here next week for another Chords and Coffee. Thank you, Danny.